So I've reshot this video like 3 times because I'm attempting to answer a comment and I can't seem to do it without being super snarky. This is attempt number 3. All right, so I did a video about how Trump was taking a victory lap because of the attack in New Orleans. So if you guys didn't hear about the attack in New Orleans and you didn't see my last video, at about 3:15, a guy passed the barricades in an F-150 and ran into a bunch of people and unalived 15 people, as the count is that I see now, and injured 30 plus others. He then got into a firefight with the police and he was unalived by the police. On the same day, a couple of hours later, someone drove a Tesla truck, parked it in front of a Trump hotel, and blew up the Tesla truck in front of the hotel. Injured 7 people by the count that I last saw, and unalived himself. He unalived himself by gunshot. Now, the person that did the New Orleans attack, they have an Islamic name. They are also brown-skinned. And so Trump, seeing that, immediately thought that it was an immigrant and used that to further his divisive rhetoric against immigrants. Trump has not said anything about the person that blew up his hotel. The reason why I speculated in the video that he didn't say anything about that person was because the person rented a Tesla truck and then blew up the Tesla truck in front of the Trump hotel. With the Twitter wars and the infighting going on between MAGA, Elon Musk, and Vivek Ramaswamy, a lot of MAGA are not liking the fact that Trump sided with the tech bros, if you will, of the MAGA movement. And so I speculated that that person that blew up the Tesla truck in front of the hotel was one of his own. So he wasn't going to demonize one of his own, so he wasn't going to say anything about it. So I'm not going to read the entire comment. I'm just going to kind of tell you the gist of what was said here. But basically, the person did not understand how I said that Trump took a victory lap. Like, how did he actually take a victory lap? Well, he posted on Truth Social that he was right about immigrants. And the attack in New Orleans proves that he was right about immigrants. That was his victory lap. So the reason why that's wrong is because the information about that is not true. The man who did that, despite the Islamic name, was not an immigrant. He was born and raised in Texas, as I said in that video. He was also a part of the U.S. military for years. For years and years, he was a part of the U.S. military. So he's a homegrown American military vet from here. That is the person that did the attacks. So we can't say that that was an immigrant's fault or immigrants' fault in general, because that is not true. We grew that person here in the States. So that's what I meant by Trump taking a victory lap. And then he didn't say anything about the person that blew up his own property. So I'm gonna lie about this person over here to fear-monger about immigrants, but I'm not going to say anything about the person that destroyed my property because they could be on my side. There's a little bit of a hypocritical thing to that, isn't it? Right? Next, he mentioned in the comment, the person mentioned in the comment that both of the men who did the attacks were evil and they were both born here and radicalized online. Yeah, they were. The person that did the attack in New Orleans, that person had been going through some issues and was radicalized by Islam. And they did their thing according to their videos and things that they put out. They did their attack in the name of Islam. The person that attacked the building with the Tesla truck, he was also radicalized, but he was radicalized by the right. He was radicalized by the rhetoric and the belief systems that Fox News and Newsmax have been telling people to believe, playing on people's fears and misconceptions and, frankly, ignorance of the subject. And so that is how that guy got radicalized. So they were both radicalized. I 100% agree with you on that. Then he brought up mental health. And I thought this one was very interesting because he said mental health issues. Where did you get that? Did you not see in your own video the man talked about issues with divorce court? You calling it normal American issues is sad. Okay, so in the video, I spoke about the issues that the guy in New Orleans was going through. He had gone through a bitter divorce and his wife was suing him for child support. He had made a bunch of YouTube videos and things like that talking about how he had a business venture that had gone under and he lost $18,000 with that. He was $20-something thousand in debt with his house, so his house was about to be foreclosed on. He was $16,000 in debt with credit card companies and credit card debt. He was just in a bad way. So take all of that, the divorce, the child support, the, business venture, the credit card debt, the foreclosure of the home, take all of that. What do you think his mental state would be? He probably wasn't in the best mental state. When I say mental health, and when anybody says mental health, and he had mental health issues, that doesn't mean that he has some type of diagnosed schizophrenia or some type of, diagnosed clinical depression or something like that. He had a mental break. He had a mental snap. And in the video, I believe I put that clip in there, he was actually thinking about unaliving his own family. He was going to get them all together and he was going to unalive his own family. But then he started having dreams about Islam and dreams about ISIS, and he decided that doing the New Orleans attack would be better than unaliving his own family. And so you cannot say that a person that thinks like that is mentally stable. So that's what I said about mental health issues. They had so much going on that they literally had a mental breakdown and was thinking about unaliving their own flesh and blood and was easily radicalized by Islam because of their mental state. So that's what I meant by that. You calling it normal American issues is sad. So, divorce, normal American issue. Being sued for child support, normal American issue. Being late on your home payments, your rent, or your mortgage, and having a risk of eviction, normal American issue. Putting money into a business venture that doesn't succeed and you lose that money, normal American issue. When you have to live off your credit cards now because you can't afford anything in your bank account, so now you're $16,000 in debt on your credit cards. Normal American issue. How is that sad by saying that? It's not sad to say that those things are a normal American issue. It's sad that they are a normal American issue. If only we had leaders that cared about us and not the big corporations. If only we had a coalition of us being together and demanding more out of our leadership. And not just voting based off of hatred, voting based off of fear, voting based off of who you don't like. If only you voted for yourself and your well-being rather than against someone else, then maybe these wouldn't be normal American issues. But they are. The last part about this comment, it was a long comment, that's why I didn't read it. The last bit on this comment talked about, so this one American who unalived people's apostrophe S for whatever reason, now negates the fact that illegal immigrants unalived American women 2 months ago. No, it doesn't. It doesn't negate that at all. The people who unalived those women 2 months ago should be prosecuted to the highest extent of the law. You do not do that. I don't care what sides you're on. Unaliving people is not good. I think we can all agree. However, the people who did the attacks in the video that I was talking about, and I talked about 3 of them, the New Orleans attack, the attack on the hotel, and then there was another attack that I talked about in the video in New York with people shooting up a club, outside a club. All of these people were American. Every single attack that happened on New Year's Day were done by American people. Homegrown American people. So fear-mongering about immigrants is not the point. So you can't use those attacks, the 3 attacks I described, to fear-monger about immigrants, because no immigrant was involved in any of those attacks. Those people were American people. So no, it doesn't negate the fact that immigrants unalived those ladies. It doesn't. But if you really, really care about ladies being unalived, if you really, really care about the lives of Americans, then you would probably want to do something about the American rate of crime. In that video, in the description, I put the study that was put out in September of 2024, talking about and debunking the theories that undocumented workers have more crime. They do not. Americans commit more crimes than undocumented workers. So if you are really afraid, if you are truly, genuinely concerned about the rate of crime in America, I would think that you'd want to get down to the actual root of the problem. And immigrants are not it.